creams have a reputation for being thick, heavy, and honestly pretty serious. When most of us think of a barrier cream, we immediately picture those incredibly dense, paste-like balms. If you look outside of K-Beauty for a second at something like the classic La Roche-Posay Cicaplast style balm, you know exactly what kind of texture I mean. It is rich, it is opaque, and it leaves a very obvious film. But the reality of building a consistent skincare routine is that the best barrier cream for your skin might not actually be the richest one on the market. It might just be the one you can actually use every single day without hating how your face feels. There is a huge difference between a heavy-duty recovery paste and a daily barrier-supporting moisturizer. For example, Kiero Moisturizing Barrier Cream goes into the medium-light comfort lane because the brand lists squalane, panthenol, ceramide, and hyaluronic acid. But, and let me be very clear about this upfront, I am not treating that ingredient list as absolute proof of medical barrier repair. I am looking at it as a profile for daily maintenance. Today, we are looking at the 2026 Korean barrier cream landscape, and we are going to figure out exactly which lane of barrier support makes sense for your specific skin type, your routine, and your climate.
To actually make sense of this category, we need to establish some ground rules. I am comparing these barrier creams based on 4 specific things: barrier support ingredients, texture weight, layering under sunscreen, and most importantly, who should skip them entirely. Because let's be real, a cream that feels like an absolute dream when you are going to sleep at night can be a complete nightmare under makeup the next morning. If a formula has incredible barrier-supporting ingredients on paper, but it makes your foundation separate and slide off your jawline by noon, you are not going to use it. Wearability matters just as much as the ingredient list. So, we're going to break this down by the 3 main ingredient lanes you'll see when shopping for Korean barrier creams: ceramides, panthenol, and squalane.
Let's start with the heavy hitters. Ceramides are the classic barrier support ingredient story. In the K-Beauty space, when you look at the Ilyun-style ceramide cream lane or the Astra-style rich barrier cream lane, you are looking at products designed to mimic the lipids naturally found in your skin. Think of your skin barrier like a brick wall. Your skin cells are the bricks, and ceramides, cholesterol, and fatty acids are the mortar holding everything together and keeping the water inside. Rich ceramide creams are incredibly popular because they immediately feel protective. You put them on and you feel a literal physical cushion between your skin and the outside world. But the trade-off for that cushion is weight. These formulas rely on heavier emollients and occlusives to create that seal. If your skin is genuinely dry, or if your routine includes strong actives like prescription retinoids or heavy chemical exfoliants, that thick cushion can be incredibly helpful. It helps mitigate that tight, stinging feeling. But if you have oily skin or if you live in a highly humid weather environment, a thick ceramide cream may feel like way too much. It can feel suffocating. For those skin types, a rich ceramide cream is usually an automatic skip for daytime use because that protective layer just traps sweat and sebum. So, what if you want barrier support, but you absolutely hate the feeling of a heavy cream? That is where we enter the panthenol lane. Panthenol, which is vitamin B5, is what I call the comfort lane. If you look at the Etude Soonjung style panthenol comfort lane, the whole philosophy there is different. Panthenol is often used in formulas that want to feel soothing and supportive without necessarily being heavy or occlusive. On paper, panthenol acts as a humectant to draw in moisture, but it is also widely formulated to help calm the feeling of irritated or sensitive skin. I really like this lane for people who want barrier support but do not want a blanket on their face. If you have oily skin, combination skin, or if you are dealing with a climate where you are sweating just walking to your car, a panthenol-focused barrier cream can give you that soothing comfort without the suffocating weight. The trade-off here is that if your skin barrier is heavily compromised and physically flaking, a lightweight panthenol gel cream might not have enough occlusive power to actually seal the skin. It will feel nice going on, but the comfort might evaporate a few hours later. Then we have the squalane lane. Squalane is fascinating because it is a skin-identical oil. Our skin naturally produces squalene with an E, and skincare uses the hydrogenated, stable version, squalane with an A. Squalane can make a moisturizer feel incredibly smooth and flexible. It can be absolutely beautiful in a medium light cream because it gives the product slip and elegance without automatically feeling greasy. But texture still matters enormously here. Squalane formulated into a lightweight gel cream and squalane formulated into a richer butter-like cream can feel very, very different on the face. When a brand builds a squalane gel cream, the goal is usually to provide that flexible, skin-like finish that doesn't sit on top of the pores. It is a great middle ground for someone who finds Panthenol too light, but ceramides too heavy. It gives you the oil-based emollients you need to soften the skin, but it usually absorbs down to a natural finish.
Now, you will notice a lot of these barrier creams also highlight hyaluronic acid, glycerin, and other humectants in their marketing. We need to clarify what those actually do in a barrier formula. Hyaluronic acid and humectants help with the water feel of a product. They grab onto hydration and plump up the surface layers of the skin. But they do not replace the sealing job of a moisturizer. Hydration and moisture are two different things. Humectants bring the water, emollients and occlusives trap it. If a barrier cream is too watery and relies too heavily on humectants without enough sealing ingredients, genuinely dry skin may still feel exposed to the air. On the flip side, if it is too occlusive, oily skin may avoid it entirely. The humectants are just the supporting cast. They are not the actual barrier shield.
All right, let's do a quick reset because this is where a lot of people waste their money. The real decision you have to make when buying a barrier cream is comfort versus wearability. A barrier cream that is incredibly comforting but impossible to wear during the day simply becomes a night-only product. And honestly, that is completely fine. Having a dedicated heavy night cream is a great strategy, but it should be judged honestly for what it is. You shouldn't buy a thick, paste-like cream expecting it to be your everyday morning moisturizer under a full face of makeup. You have to buy for the routine slot you are actually trying to fill. Speaking of the morning routine, let's talk about makeup and sunscreen compatibility, because this is the ultimate test for any daytime barrier cream. For daytime, I want a cream that actually settles and sets before I apply my sunscreen. If a barrier cream leaves a greasy, slippery film, it is going to interfere with your SPF. If it pills when you rub your sunscreen over it, the whole morning routine gets annoying and you have to wash your face and start over. Even worse, if a cream stays too shiny or heavy, a lot of people will instinctively use less sunscreen to compensate for the greasy feeling. That is the absolute wrong trade to make. You should never compromise your UV protection just because your moisturizer is too heavy. If a barrier cream forces you to under-apply your SPF, it is the wrong daytime cream for you, period. You need something lighter. So, how do we split this up by skin type? For dry skin, I would start richer. You are the prime candidate for the thick, occlusive ceramide creams. Your skin lacks its own natural oils, so you need the product to do the heavy lifting. For oily skin, I would start lighter and look for the Panthenol or squalane lanes without a heavy occlusive film. You want the soothing properties without the trap of excess heat and sebum. For combination skin, you have to be strategic. You might want to use the richer cream only where you actually need it, like around the mouth or the cheeks, and use something lighter on the T-zone. And for active users, meaning you are regularly using retinoids, AHAs, or BHAs, I would choose pure comfort over cosmetic elegance at night. Who cares if you look a little shiny when you are going to sleep? If the cream stops your skin from stinging, that is the one you use. Before we get to the final verdicts, I need to call out a very common marketing trap. I would be very careful with the phrase barrier repair. A product can list barrier supporting ingredients. It can feel incredibly comforting on the skin. It can temporarily relieve dryness. But unless we have measured clinical third-party data proving that the physical structure of the stratum corneum has been repaired, I would not treat any cosmetic claim as proof that your barrier is quote-unquote repaired. Skincare is maintenance. These are barrier supporting products, not medical treatments. Keep your expectations realistic. All right, let's get to the final recommendations and hand out the awards. For the best dry skin lane, I would pick a rich ceramide cream. If your skin is flaking and tight, you need the heavy Estura or Ilyun style cushion to physically protect the skin while it recovers. For the best daily comfort lane, I am looking at a medium light Panthenol or squalane cream. This is where Kiero Moisturizing Barrier Cream makes sense as a candidate. It fits this lane perfectly if you want a medium light comfort cream that balances squalane and Panthenol without suffocating the skin. It is wearable, it has slip, and it doesn't feel like a mask. For the best active routine lane, I would look for whatever cream noticeably reduces that sting and tight feeling after you apply your actives, even if it's a bit heavier. And for the best skip, I would absolutely skip any heavy occlusive cream under makeup if it pills or shines. Do not force a night cream to do a day cream's job. My ultimate recommendation is to choose your barrier cream by when you will actually use it. A morning cream needs wearability first. A night cream can afford to be more comforting and heavy. Richer ceramide creams make more sense for dry night routines, while lighter squalane and Panthenol formulas win the daytime. A barrier product is only useful if it actually fits the routine where your skin needs help. So, I want to know your preference. Tell me in the comments if you prefer creams that completely disappear into the skin, or if you are someone who actually likes a cream you can feel sitting on your face. That answer changes the recommendation completely. Subscribe if you want more routine breakdowns, and I will see you in the next one.